What's going on, you guys? Jay here, and welcome back to the channel. So don't forget to smash the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Things are moving pretty fast in the Luna Classic community at the moment. We've had an absolute mountain of proposals go through, and on a plus side, we've also got two new development teams that are KYC wanting to implement work on chain. So everything seems to be walking in the right direction, but there is a little bit of confusion out there when it comes down to TFL and what they're actually going to be cleaning up, what they're responsible for, and their ejection window from crypto entirely. This news is beginning to circulate, and this wind down end of an era is fully in motion. And what I'm here to do is break everything down for you. But before I do that, let's listen to some snippets from the court hearing itself.
I am going to enter an order confirming the plan. Satisfied that the form of the confirmation order is appropriate. That I believe, Ms. Berkovich, I just want to make sure, is the debtor requesting a waiver of the Rule 6004 stay for purposes of allowing it to go effective sooner than 14 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Based upon the record before me, I'm satisfied that cause, in fact, does exist, and that the debtors have established that cause exists for a waiver of that stay in order to permit the debtor to go effective with this plan. As counsel for the committee noted, this is a complex process that involves a significant number of stakeholders. So the sooner that the debtor can get it over that finish line, I think the better. The requirement is waived, and again, the court would just ask you to go forth and go effective.
With that, we will move expeditiously to try to go effective as quickly as possible.
There are, obviously it is not goodbye. There's a motion and some other activities that will likely be coming down the pike to the extent that the debtors require access to the court, either for a telephonic hearing if something comes up, or for further hearings to get the post-effective date case up and running. You can expect the court will be a willing partner in that process. But with that, we are adjourned. Congratulations to the debtor. We stand adjourned.
At this point, it's quite clear that TFL's bankruptcy plan has been approved, and this whole situation is now fully in motion. We've also heard them state how important it is to waive the rights and have this all begin as soon as possible, which is great news for us here in the Luna Classic community, because everything that we've discussed prior on the channel, they're going to go ahead and do that in an orderly fashion. Over the past 2 days, there's been a considerable amount of new information that's been made available, and there's a lot of dockets that I've had to go in and break down and really take out anything that's relevant to us here in the Luna Classic community. And we've got a pretty solid timeline at this point, so we can confirm that the plan satisfies or complies with all applicable provisions of sections 112, 1123, 1125, 1126, and 1129 of the Bankruptcy Code, and is confirmed pursuant to section 119 of the Bankruptcy Code. This means everything is happy, everybody has crossed the T's, everybody has dotted the I's, and everything can now go ahead at this point. So this leaves us with more information that points to the immediate action behind this whole plan going effective. And we can see here that in the miscellaneous section numbered 36, the debtors are authorized to consummate the plan at any time after the entry of this confirmation order, which is what we're reading from here. So we know that it is completely now down to TFL, the debtors and the liquidators, to see this thing through to the end. And that is going to be why everything's been adjourned. And the next time we hear anything from the courts will be after that post-effective date. They have been very specific on the crypto loss claims, and the plan administrator on behalf of the Wind Down Trust is authorized to propose and implement, upon approval by this court, the bar date and proof of claim process for holders of crypto loss claims to assert a claim for allowance and distribution purposes, that such date shall be no more than 120 calendar days after the effective date, provided further, however, that such time may be extended by the plan administrator. So once again, anybody who has lost money during the Luna debacle now has an opportunity to go and make a claim. They can go and attempt to be made whole again from that estate. And this is something a lot of people are simply not picking up on, is Luna Classic is not responsible for making crash victims whole again. This all falls down to the bankruptcy plan and those who were affected by the crash to more or less get off of their backside and go and do the work to get their money back. During the planned confirmation hearing, there were 5 objections, and each and every one of those were overruled and settled at the end. And what I'm going to do is actually upload the audio file which contains that whole 1 hour clip of what went down, so you can get yourself up to date if you wish to go ahead and do that level of research. What we're going to do now is move over to Exhibit B, which provides some insight on our current situation on chain, and this is in reference to other bar dates that are mentioned. So except as otherwise provided in section 2.6 of the plan, the applicable deadline for private wallet crypto holders as defined in the plan to request withdrawal of tokens held in wallets or accounts owned or controlled by such private wallet crypto holder or be forever barred, are stopped and adjoined from withdrawing such tokens and asserting any claims relating to the loss of assets to such tokens against the debitors or the wind down trust as applicable, or their respective assets or properties shall be the date that is 30 calendar days after the effective date. We know that TFL has already put this date forward and given us this timeline, but they're once again confirming this in section 30 and section 31, except as otherwise provided in section 2.7 of the plan, the applicable deadline for bridge wallet crypto holders as defined in the plan to redeem Terra crypto as defined in the plan held in the bridge wallets, or to be forever barred, as stopped and adjoined from redeeming such Terra crypto assets and asserting any claims relating to the loss of access to such Terra crypto against the debitors or the wind down trust as applicable of their respective assets or properties shall be that date of 30 calendar days after the effective date. So this is all really important because once again, it bolsters the timeline that TFL's put forward. It bolsters the fact that they are not allowed to do anything that has not been put forward in the plan. And yes, Mirror and Anchor protocol assets were not put forward in the plan. In fact, they've just been completely forgotten about at this point, and it's like they don't exist. It's completely a problem which falls on this blockchain, and there is going to be an argument there of those assets belonging to holders as such. But I would say to everybody once again, it's not down to the Luna Classic community to make Luna investors from the crash whole again. And what we need to understand is Luna was a speculative asset. It was just as good as you buying a meme coin. UST is where the security was. But once again, this all falls down to that crypto loss claim estate that anyone affected can go and attempt to get their funds back. It does not fall on the Luna Classic community. What falls on us as a community is actually cleaning up this blockchain, as we all agreed to when we first got involved, but we're just not seeing that. We see a lot of people who are neglect of actually going out and doing the research and understanding that TFL is not coming, help is not coming, and what everybody needs to be aware of, Luna have probably eyeballed these assets at this point. And yes, they do control enough validators on chain to be able to get these migrated, maybe to their community pool. There's a huge level of risk when it comes down to this whole process moving forward, because there's no one at the helm of TFL anymore. There is nobody in charge of security, meaning that anyone who has access to these assets and gets themselves in a jurisdiction where they're simply not accessible, they could drain these funds, and that's something that really scares me. It would be a substantial hit to this blockchain that it simply might not recover from. So although TFL are ejecting, although we've got all of this good news, we've also got this validating base that kind of feel responsible for the crash and really want to make these holders whole again when they can go and be made whole from the estate. So it's really confusing. It's definitely going to fall down to all nodes. Clearly, I'm going to be voting yes, but I'm really interested to see what all nodes are going to do. When we look at the timeline that's been put forward, we could say to ourselves, it's the 20th today, everything went through yesterday, so we could probably see 30 days from now, the shuttle bridge closed and those assets burned. That puts you at around the 20th of next month. So now you're probably thinking, Jay, what happens if these two proposals do fail? What I would put forward then would be the idea of actually reopening Mirror and Anchor Protocol for a specified amount of time in the same way that TFL has gone with the shuttle bridge assets. And then after 30 days, closing both protocols and burning any remaining assets. So although there are some negatives here, there's only positives to be had in the future. And a lot of the times it's just bureaucracy. You've got to go through the different motions of things. And yes, it would be better if validators were actually going on the Commonwealth and giving feedback before we move to the proposal phase, because a lot of the times they are just simply talking amongst themselves in these private groups that a very small percentage of the LUNC community is part of, and the other percentage are simply seeing zero activity in areas where activity is most important. Feedback is most important. It allows and enables for a lubricated process. Instead, what we have is a Commonwealth discussion goes up. There's not much feedback or engagement with it. So this leads to the assumption that everybody's happy with it. It goes to the proposal phase. All of the validators deny it, give their feedback in memos, and then expect you to go through that whole process again. And it's not like this whole proposal process is cheap. In fact, it costs 10 million LUNC to get those two up. And there's always a chance, and as you can see, that people will know whether to veto it. So it's never easy maneuvering on this blockchain or trying to get things put through, but all you can do is remain consistent and keep trying at the end of the day. That's all I've really got for you guys today. It's been a very busy week here behind the scenes. I'm working on a very major upgrade for LUNCDash, something that no one's brought you over the course of 2 years, yet we've all consistently needed this one thing. So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited for the future of LUNC and the idea of the shuttle bridge assets burning and eventually getting through these Mirror and Anchor protocol assets as well. There's a lot of positives to be had, like I keep saying, and just hang in there. The market's looking great. Everything seems to be walking towards this God candle movement, and by God, we're going to be there when it happens. So beside that, just stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.